Jonathan Marshall covers the NBA. He used to be on the East Coast with the rest of us, but he was smart and went to Texas.
I'm enjoying the good life here in the Lone Star. The scenery is nice. The weather is beautiful. It's just a great time, Josh.
So you're the smart one.
I try to be sometimes. I try.
All right, let's get your reaction on Game 4 last night. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, finally it was sort of a close game compared to the first 3 ones. So I mean, I was excited that the fans were able to see a competitive game, even though Warriors decided on their side late in the game. But it was pretty much what I expected. I think Game 3 was sort of an aberration. I didn't expect, especially after Steph Curry used the word soft many times. I expected a more focused Golden State squad, and for Cleveland. You can't expect Richard Jefferson to ball out like that, like he did in Game 3. You can't expect Cleveland to look like they did on Game 3. And when things get tough for Cleveland, this is the thing I've been telling people over and over, outside of the competition they face or the lack thereof in the Eastern Conference, when things get tough, and this is just in general, just in life, yes, you can fake it. You can try to put on an act and say, oh, you're this way, but when things get tough, when the pressure gets on you, when things get tight, you're going to revert to what you're used to. You're going to revert to your old habits. And for Cleveland, yes, they're a great front-running team. When everything's clicking, J.R. Smith is looking good. Iman Shumpert is looking good. Kevin Love is looking good. Kyrie Irving is flowing. LeBron is flowing. These guys are hitting shots. Channing Frye. But when things get tight, what are they going to do? They're going to revert to what Cleveland is as a team, which is isolation basketball, non-communication on the defensive end, and mentally fragile. I mean, this is who they are when things get tough. So, after the Game 3 situation, I really didn't go to the extreme when it came to siding with Cleveland or saying, oh, Golden State's been figured out, because as we saw last night when things got tight and it was a close game late, Golden State still had an offense to go to, but that wasn't anything new for them. That's who they are. So when you're seeing these great passes on the half-court set, that's who they are. When you're seeing Steph and Clay knock down these amazing three-pointers, that's what they do. It's nothing new. So for Cleveland, I mean, it just comes down to, Golden State is a better overall team, and Cleveland cannot switch up who they are on a dime. This is just who they are. And obviously, they gave up a big opportunity last night, so you're going to the Oracle on Monday, and you got to think Golden State is going to win this one at home. They didn't get a chance to do it last year, so what a beautiful thing for Golden State and those fans for having the opportunity to potentially hoist that trophy in Oakland.
And, Jonathan, that was my contention about Cleveland. I looked at this team. They didn't play bad in the first half. They were actually pretty good.
Right.
I mean, Kevin Love came out off the bench. He was setting hard screens. He was boxing out. He was playing good. But as soon as the Warriors came out in that second half, they outscored them 29-22. And actually, throughout the game, if you look back at the score, Cleveland scored less points every quarter as the game went along. It's almost like they ran out of steam, and as soon as they realized they ran out of steam, they just went back to hero ball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with Golden State, any lead isn't safe. We know that. So last night especially, the game was close throughout. So you're just waiting for Golden State. You're waiting for Steph and Clay to get off and knock down those shots, which eventually happened. And something that we haven't seen from Cleveland throughout this playoff series is how are they going to take a punch in the mouth? The first 2 games we saw how they reacted. Game 3 was an aberration. That was just, Golden State they weren't there mentally. So last night you get the first real competitive game on both sides. Cleveland, you're the home team. Finally, Golden State is showing something late in the second, late in the third quarter to make things close. And we saw what Cleveland did. Kyrie Irving, hero ball. Kyrie Irving over-dribbling, isolation, feeling himself. I mean, he did have a great first half, but toward the end of it, Kyrie Irving was Kyrie, and the Golden State Warriors took advantage of it. It's just not going to work against a team like Golden State. This isn't the Atlanta Hawks. This isn't Detroit. This isn't Toronto. Golden State is a team who will take advantage of your deficiencies as a team. And Cleveland has, I mean, they have some huge deficiencies. As great as a talented team they are, I mean, this team, they have some holes, and it's glaring, especially in a game like last night when you're home, a chance to tie the series. You got to pull that one out. I mean, there's just no excuse for that one last night.
Jonathan, I've been very critical of Steph Curry in this series. I've been saying that I felt like his head was in the sand. He was moping on defense. He just wasn't playing with passion just because he wasn't making shots. He finally came out and played like the unanimous MVP should. Because to me, it was more than the 38 points. That's all well and good. We know we can score. It's the fact that he had rebounds. He was getting assists. He was trying to play defense. And I felt like the effort that he put out was a sign to the rest of the team that, listen, I'm putting in the work. You should too.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on with that, Josh. I mean, for a lot of guys, if their shot's not falling, I mean, they're going to check out. The defense rebounding, I mean, you might as well forget about it. But the fact that Steph was able to say, okay, maybe my shot isn't as on as I want it to be, but that doesn't mean I can't impact the game in other ways. So he's grabbing rebounds. He's hustling on defense. He's grabbing loose balls. And we see guys like Anderson Varejao. I mean, he was huge. We see guys like James Michael McAdoo getting hustle plays going on. So, I mean, when you're two-time back-to-back MVP is really getting involved and, making sure he's having an impact in the game in some way. Because if you're a back-to-back MVP, I mean, you got to have an impact on the game. There's just, I don't care who you are. And Steph shouldn't be excused for, the first couple games. He's been off. Mentally, he didn't seem to be there. So last night, outside of the 38 points, which I didn't even realize he scored that many. It was the most quiet 38 points I've seen Steph score. It just didn't seem that way. I was really shocked at the end of the night. But, I mean, he got it done. He was able to have an impact not only scoring-wise, but hustling-wise, which, infiltrates throughout that whole team, as we saw, like with the likes of Varejao, and McAdoo, as I mentioned.
Talking with Jonathan Marshall, he covers the NBA. As I mentioned, he's in Texas now. He's no longer in the Northeast with the rest of us suffering. But anyway, so but on a serious note, one more thing on the Warriors before we move on to LeBron. I had tweeted this out during the game. I felt like Harrison Barnes was auditioning for his Lakers max contract to join Luke Walton in L.A. What do you think? I
mean, I tell you what, if you've been following my Twitter, Harrison is my guy. I'm on Harrison Barnes watch, man, because this summer is going to be amazing. Now, is Harrison Barnes a max contract player? Heck no. But that doesn't mean he's not going to get it. He's not going to. But I'm rooting for Harrison Barnes because I feel like some team is going to get fleeced so bad this summer. They're going to buy into the Harrison Barnes potential hype. They're going to buy into it. And with every big shot that he makes, every rebound that he gets, it's going to keep adding those dollars to Harrison Barnes' check. He's going to get a nice check. I would love to be his agent this summer. So Harrison Barnes max watch is in effect for sure.
I mean, and that's why I say the Lakers, because I feel like Luke Walton's going to go there. He'll probably go there on a trip, and they'll sell him on, look, Luke's here. We're the Lakers. We got an opening at small forward. You're only 24. Sure. Here's a bunch of money. Come on, the Lakers.
I can see the Lakers doing that. I mean, look, Philly fans, Sixers fans, just pray and hope that Colangelo is not even biting on it. Just hope, because I feel like the Sixers could be one of those teams who would really try it with Harrison Barnes. I'm just saying. But Sixers fans, let's just hope Harrison will not be the guy, the face of the Sixers franchise. So just pray on that, because I'm not too sure if the Sixers wouldn't try that.
All right, let's transition to LeBron. All right, hear me out for a second, then you can respond.
Okay.
I feel like the criticism of LeBron is ridiculous because, to me, there's only one other player that I can think of in NBA history who has come in and been a physical force of nature and a crazy level of talent that LeBron is, and that's Wilt. And I feel like the same things we say about LeBron we said about Wilt. You look back at the newspaper clippings back from the 60s, the guy can't win, he's not clutch, he can't carry his team, he doesn't win the ball in crunch time. But yet LeBron, like Wilt, was such a dominant force and arguably the best player of his era. And I feel like Wilt, that we are so hypercritical of LeBron just because he doesn't win titles, yet he's gotten his team to the title game. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, we're seeing it this morning. I mean, you can go online and read the headlines, go on social media and see what's going on, but it's always to the extreme with LeBron. Either he's the greatest thing ever or he's not clutch enough. He just doesn't have it. And the Wilt Chamberlain comparison is spot on because you're talking about physical freaks, physically gifted guys who during their time were unmatched physically, and in any era could dominate, could definitely hold their own. So that's definitely spot on. I think for a guy like LeBron, I think years from now, the next generation kids are going to look at his stats, and they're going to think that we're tripping these days. The people who are criticizing LeBron, they're going to be looking at his stats and saying, I mean, are you telling me he almost averaged a triple-double basically, and he's not top five? I mean, so I think as the years go on, I think LeBron will be more appreciated, especially for the next generation of hoop fans, where they actually look at his stats, look at his size and the skills that he brought to the table. Another thing about LeBron was, I mean, coming out of high school, St. Vincent St. Mary, made me a guy who had to face that attention. On the cover of Sports Illustrated, Slam Magazine. His high school games were on ESPN. And he came out of high school. Not only did he meet expectations, as far as I'm concerned, he's exceeded them. So I think in the case of LeBron, yeah, there's this anger from some people that he was anointed the king even before he stepped foot into the league. There's the situation where people think he's just overhyped, overrated. He doesn't have enough championship rings. And I think with LeBron, you know, and a lot of us are, you know, it's just human nature. When you see somebody who seemingly has it all, so gifted, and you want that person to live up to what we think he should be. I think that's what LeBron is. We see he's 6'9", 260. He can handle, he can pass. He has all the skills that a basketball player could ever want and need. But we still want more out of him. We feel like he's been blessed with so much that he's not giving us what we think he should give us. And I think that's where we get things twisted. And that's just in everyday life in society. We see somebody, I mean, they're born with a good situation in life, but they're not where we think they should be. I think that's the case with LeBron when it comes to his basketball skills and his physical gifts. We see this guy, 6'9", 260, the way he moves. It's like he should be dominating. There should be more to him. But LeBron is never going to be who we want him to be. LeBron is a great basketball player. He's more Magic Johnson than MJ, and there's nothing wrong with that. So why can't we just appreciate LeBron for who he is and what he's brought to the game? Because, to be honest, not many people have been as dominant, and not many people have lived up and exceeded expectations. And he's had higher expectations than anybody in the history of the league coming into the NBA. I don't see another player having those expectations. Not even Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons in high school, it wasn't as hyped up as LeBron. So I don't think anybody. I can't foresee another player coming out of high school and coming into the NBA or coming out of college now, facing that type of criticisms and critiques and expectations. I still remember his first game in Sacramento. I mean, he was 18-year-old, and he belonged out there. How many guys are doing that? Not just
Jonathan, they didn't. When Kobe and Kevin Garnett came to the NBA out of high school, they were nothing for the first 2 years. In fact, the Lakers had to get rid of Eddie Jones so Kobe could start. Yeah, I mean, Kobe, KG, I mean, all these T-Mac, Tracy McGrady. I mean, these guys needed time. Oh, God, T-Mac was horrible for 2 years. I mean,
these guys needed time to develop. It took them a couple years, but LeBron from day one, I mean, he was ready. So I mean, I don't get the extreme criticism. Yes, there is no perfect player. Michael Jordan isn't a perfect player. Magic isn't a perfect player. Wilt, Russell, these aren't perfect players, but LeBron is a great basketball player, and we should appreciate what he's brought to the table. And at the end of the day, I mean, he's going to go down as, you can say top 5, top 10. I mean, he's at least top 10. I mean, if he's not in your top 10, I don't know, by the time he's done, I mean, that's when I'm saying, okay, what's wrong with LeBron's resume? What hasn't he done? What hasn't he brought to the game? So I think LeBron's a special player, and we need to stop putting our expectations on what we think he should be and just embrace what he is, which is a great player.
Jonathan Marshall, I appreciate you joining us. Plug your Twitter and all your other stuff right now, real quick. ARN_John Marshall. I'm out here in Texas doing what I have to do, trying to make the Northeast proud. So please do give me a follow on ARN_John Marshall. Appreciate you joining me today.
I appreciate it, Josh.